What's going on, family? Facebook family, hope you're doing well. What is up? What is up? Happy day to you. Thursday. What date is it now? I don't even know. These days are all just blending together. Let me just give a moment to see who jumps on here live. Listen, if you're catching this live or on the replay, I do appreciate you for being here. The Daily Dose, and if you're wondering who the heck I am, I'll share that in just a moment. You can see by the name, Mark Avens. You can call me Coach Mark if you want. I'm an online coach, but I'm also a dad and husband, and I'm a beach goer right now. There's no beach going, so I'm going to share with you what I call the Daily Dose, and I'll explain that in just a moment. Welcome. Thank you for being on here. Appreciate you. 8 a.m., the Daily Dose. I'm also going to share with you in just a moment why I'm doing the Daily Dose, and I have actually a really great, it's Thursday, Throwback Thursday, so I thought I'd bring a little story to you that will help with some encouragement. And when you come on here, I'd love to know that you're here. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know where you live in this world too, where you're at, where you're chiming in from. You can say your living room, but let me know what state you live in and how things are going. I'd appreciate this. I know it's kind of one way, but it'd be awesome if you put in your thoughts and even if you agree with what I'm saying, if this is catching on, if this Daily Dose. And let me just kind of get into it. I thought I'd wait maybe a minute or two, but let's just jump in. We wake up in the mornings with a daily dose of something, right? And it could be a lot of thoughts and a lot of different thoughts right now. Maybe you're used to having your coffee and your quiet time, and right now, I even get caught in where I just get like lured into looking at, hey, what's going on in the news, right? And I would just say really, really be careful with that. But really, the reason I'm doing this daily dose is I really feel, and I'm going to try to do my best in my part. My entire professional career has been helping others, is giving encouragement for more of a health and fitness kind of pursuit that people are struggling. There's lots of people out there. Maybe you're that person struggling, and if you want information on that, you can hook up with me after and connect and ask what I do. I'm an online coach, but that's not what this Daily Dose is about. You see, I want to just provide a dose of encouragement for you. So if you're in the midst of like the middle of a crisis struggle, if you lose your job, if you got kids home, if you're running around, getting stressed out and worried and anxious and all those things, I totally get it. There's definitely a bit of that in this house as well. My wife just went to work. She's a nurse practitioner. She's going to work today. So definitely, if you can, on a side note, give her some thoughts and prayers, and all of our health care providers. Pretty awesome stuff. When you come on here, hey, Amy, welcome. When you come on, I'd love to know where you live in this world. And today I'm going to share with you kind of a story about it's an encouraging story. And I hope it will place kind of this whole thing about us being built to do hard things. And I don't know about you, and I'm going to share with you kind of, living on this earth for 47 years, there's definitely some hard things that I've done, some more than others. And I would say one of the most recent, actually one of the hardest things, I'll say, this is a side note, but this is not the story. One of the hardest things, I think, is coming into my faith, coming into understanding that there's a God who loves and cares for us and wants good things, doesn't want bad things to happen, but is going to use everything, whether it's good, bad, all the circumstances we have. And it's hard. I would say right now, I'll just be completely honest and open, and this is not even the story, is that it's hard being a Christian. It's hard to be a Christian man and have faith, and because we're expected to bow up and toughen up and like just tough it out. Like, we could do this. We just, figure it out on our own, do this way. And I realize that's not the case. And actually, this isn't the story, but I want to share really this story to encourage you about being built to do hard things. You see, one of the things in times of uncertainty, one period of time I'll remember that's a very vivid memory for me. Back about 10 years ago, it was actually about the same time that I came to know who God was and this whole relationship with God. And when that came into play, I also got invited to go on a mission trip. Now, I had, just to give you kind of the preface, I've always been in the water, boogie boarding, not surfing. I really didn't start surfing until I turned about 31. We moved here to Florida, and I picked up surfing. And, I wasn't very good. I just, when you learn when you're in your 30s, it's kind of hard to learn, and I figured it out, and that was my one hobby, right? And I got invited to go on a mission trip. This is actually through a church. So I thought it was exciting, right? Like a mission trip, you go surfing with guys, go the Pacific, and this was in Costa Rica, and it was really awesome experience. And that's not really the story. It's about doing hard things. Is realizing now I was one of the old guys in the group, older guys, I would say. Most of them were like early 20s. Most of them were really, really good at surfing. And a lot of them had been already to Costa Rica surfing. And so I'm all in. Like, I go all in. And talk about being uncertain and talking about doing hard things. I wasn't even very good at surfing. I still am not really very good in my later 40s at surfing, but I can hold my own now. I live in Florida. We're close to the beach. When there is waves, I get out there and surf. And this moment when I went, and I think it was about 2010, it happened to be the same exact, talk about doing hard things and being built for hard things. It was the same year that I opened up a gym, and I've never done that before. And it was, while it was exciting, it was a 2-year process, and you know, I went all in. We basically, my wife and I invested everything we had to open this gym, and we did it. And that was really, really scary. And in the midst of that, we started going to church, and I got invited to go on a mission trip. So I went and I left the gym. I had a couple people working for me, and I left. And that wasn't even the hard part, really. That was hard, but in hindsight, it's not really the the hard part of this, because it's really pertinent to right now with what a lot of people I think are dealing with uncertainty. And I want to share this really, man, it was a tough time. So here I am on a mission trip with guys that are Christians. I've never been on a mission trip before. I've never been away on a trip surfing with guys before. And we get there and we heard, oh, the waves are going to be good. The waves are going to be Costa Rica, right? The waves are pretty much always good. And from what I was hearing, the waves are going to be really good. Their waves are going to be really good. And I don't know if you don't surf, then you may not know this, but when the waves are bigger, they're better and it's more fun. The problem is I'm not used to big waves. So we went and we were there, and I will never forget the first day. Hey, we're going to get in. And there was like maybe 15 of us. The first day we go in, that we had this van. We rented a van, and it's all these guys, and our surfboards are wrapped up on top, and we drive to this location. It's supposed to be this really awesome location. And the reason why we go there, because it only breaks when it's really, really big. So we get in this like van and we drive like an hour to get there. And all I keep hearing about is how good this break is, and you have to paddle out, and it's hard to get out there. And I'm freaking out, literally freaking out. Out of the probably 15 guys that are on this trip, 20 guys maybe, 15 guys, most of them had already surfed in Costa Rica, a lot of them. There was maybe a handful, and I was one, and I wasn't even very good at surfing in the first place, but we got there. And hey, by the way, talk about hard things. You got to listen up. This is such a good story. So we get there. It's really sketchy. There's there's nowhere really to park. It's on like a hidden kind of back beach area, if you will. And then it's like, okay, we gotta pay this guy to leave our car here in his place, or our car will get stolen, the van will get stolen, or whatever. And then he's like, okay, I'm gonna give you the lowdown. The leader of the trip is like, hey, I'm gonna give you the lowdown on how this works. It's like a 45-minute paddle out. What? Like, I can get in the water and surf a wave and basically be done in 45 minutes, let alone have to paddle out. So there, and I'm in decent shape now, mind you. This is just, I'm good shape, but I was still fearful. Oh, and by the way, you're going to have to go across this kind of inlet, if you will. It's like a little inlet that goes into like where the river mouth. And the river mouth opens up, and that's why the waves are good at this place. And hey, you need to keep your feet above the water because there's crocodiles. What? There's crocodiles? No, I don't want anything to do with this. Crocodiles at a 45-minute paddle to waves that are huge. Literally, you could hear the waves that are like, there's like 300 yards out, and you can hear the waves that are like pounding. And they don't look that big, but you can tell, like you see the white water come up. So not only am I not good at surfing, the waves are big. There's a 45-minute paddle, and I'm going through a river mouth with crocodiles. And I'm like, what the heck? First of all, I was like, what am I doing here? Like, I'm like, what is this? So I'm thinking, okay, I'm not built for this. I have a family at home. I can't get eaten by a crocodile. I can't die here in Costa Rica. I got young kids at home. I have a gym that I just opened. There's none. And I was very uncertain. Let me just tell you, there's a moment in my life that I was very uncertain. For my health, really, mainly it was for my health. And maybe you're feeling that right now if you're in this period of uncertainty, and maybe you're not paddling across a river mouth with crocodiles and going out to waves. But I want to just share with you why this story is really important, and I hope you've listened. And if you're coming on here, don't not listen to this, because it's a really, really good story, and it's going to be pertinent to right now why you need to realize you're built to do hard things. You're built to get through things like what we're getting through right now. God designed you a way you're more resilient than you think. You got to give yourself more credit, and I'm going to share with you why. Even in the times I was paddling through here, worrying about a crocodile, taking my leg off, and you're like, why did you even do that in the first place? Well, I was around a group of guys, and I was encouraged by them. And in the uncertainty, they gave me certainty that, hey, Mark, trust me. You just stay together as a group. We'll go out, we'll scare, if there's any crocodiles, and we'll get out there. And the waves are going to be really big, but it's going to be so worth it. Like, it's going to be so worth it when you catch one of those waves. And I'm like, I'm not even think I'm going to be able to catch one of these waves. So we go and we paddle, and we're out there. I clearly have my legs, my arms are all intact. We get out there. It took me 45 minutes. And there was 12, 15 guys out in the water, and all different levels, but most of them are pretty comfortable in the waves. And then the waves start coming. And then the waves start coming. And then the waves start coming. And I'm like, okay, I can handle this. And they're like, hey, you got to duck dive like far down. Like, you don't just duck dive on little waves here, 2 feet waves. These were like a good solid 6 to 8 foot waves in Costa Rica, which was like double overhead. Huge, huge. So I was just worried about just staying alive, not even catching waves, but like, hey, you got to duck dive and go under. And you got to make sure you don't get caught on the inside. And that's the important thing. Okay, so I got all through all this stuff, and now I'm facing these waves that I don't even know if I'm going to catch one. And then I look ahead. I'm looking at somebody that had done this before, that knows this location, and he gets on a wave, and I see the look on his face, the smile, and this it literally was like illuminated, and everybody was like, I even get chills right now. I have the sweatshirt on. I get chills when I see this guy taking this wave, and he gets on this wave and he goes down. And the wave, this place, it's called Boca Bronga, and this wave goes literally for like a mile. It was ridiculous. It was absolutely most insane thing I've seen. And everybody was like, whoa, like everybody was going crazy. And it was so amazing that wave. And then the next thing you know, another guy gets one, and I didn't get one yet, and then another guy gets one, and everybody's just like, oh, this is so worth it. It's so freaking worth it. And I'm like, okay, I got through without crocodiles biting me. I got through the 45 minute paddle. I'm in the water, I'm in the lineup. It's called the lineup for you non-surfers out there. And I'm waiting, and then what happens? And then you hear on the to the side, they're like, set, like big set. And all I saw was these guys just tearing, like paddling, and moving out towards the waves, like not away from it. They're moving out towards it, and not to catch it, to actually so they don't get pounded, because you don't want to get caught in the inside. So why am I sharing this story about my surfing experience and about being built? Why I titled this Being Built to Do Hard Things. I'll tell you what, I had never a thought in my mind that I would be able to do anything like this ever in my life. And not only as far as I was more uncertain, I was uncertain for, like, now many of you may be uncertain about your health, and uncertain about your jobs, and uncertain about your kids, and uncertain about your financial situation, and uncertain about when you'll be able to go to the beach, and when you'll be able to go out and see your friends again, and uncertain maybe even about your faith and your church and belief in God, and how is this happening to me, all these things. And I can say to you this: you are built for hard things. You see, one of the things that I realized too is in that moment is when I got in the water, I need to move. I need to take action. I had to, in this time of uncertainty, I didn't want to stay where the crocodiles were. I didn't want to just paddle a little bit and just sit there. I needed to paddle. I needed to move forward to get towards those waves. And I needed to, once we were out there, sitting out there, I needed to make sure I didn't get pounded and get caught, what they say, inside. You can be outside waiting for the waves, or you can be inside waiting for the waves. And if you're inside and you get caught inside, you're going to get pounded by what's called a cleanup set. So these waves are coming in and you can learn it. And then there's a cleanup set. And I'll tell you, sometimes there's nothing you can do. And maybe right now you feel, and even if you don't surf, maybe you can relate to this. So you feel like you're getting smacked around by a cleanup set, which is a giant wave that comes through. You can't even surf it, and it usually breaks further out, and you get stuck. So here's my thing: is I'm sharing with you, while we're built we're built to do hard things. The hardest thing, I think, is staying stuck where you're at. Is right now, yeah, you can throw on Netflix and you can, wallow in bottles of wine and all that stuff and worry and watch the news, and you can stay stuck. And the reality is, when we come, regardless of how long and the circumstances, and don't get me wrong, it sucks. I'm with you, it sucks. But no matter how long it takes to get out of this, you can either stay stuck, and if you stay stuck, you can risk And I don't know what that looks like for you. You can risk getting taken out by the crocodiles. You can risk getting pounded by the cleanup sets that come through. What's going to happen after, because sooner or later, like a cleanup set comes in every once in a while, and you never know when it's coming. And you can sit there and stay stuck in that uncertainty, or you can move forward. And what was so amazing, I think this was relatable to you, is how did I get through my period of uncertainty and being stuck, worrying about these waves, like worrying about this trip? Because I can tell you, it was hard. It was a hard trip. I wasn't really ready equipped. But what I did, I was following others had already been there. You see, that's the thing right now. We talk about this whole physical distancing, and why I want to come on here and share with you some encouragement is because we need people in our lives more now than ever. And regardless of it being a neighbor or your family, or, you know, getting online with somebody, doing a Zoom call or a FaceTime call, or is we need to be as socially connected to each other without maybe the physical part, more so now than ever, because it's important, especially when you're worrying about things like crocodiles. And I don't know what the crocodile might be in your life. It may be worrying about not having a job, worrying about not being able to pay the rent, and worrying about your personal health. Hey, don't get me wrong. Part of this, and why I'm sharing this with you, is I've been helping people in their personal health walks for 25 years. Why have I been doing that for so long? Because there's been a lot of people, there's never been a short of supply of people who need help, who need to come alongside to be encouraged to get through whatever their, in the health standpoint, whatever their crocodile is, to help get them so they don't get pounded by a cleanup set. Now, what that can look like in my world as a health coach is something like being 50 pounds overweight or 30 pounds overweight, and then realizing you're going to be put on medications, or your doctors, or now you're reading the health risks of coronavirus and you're seeing, oh my gosh, obesity is a health risk. Having a poor immune system, being unhealthy, being out of shape, being overweight, having poor lungs, being a smoker, all those things, they're at a high risk. Being older and not being healthy and older. Here's the reality, we're all gonna get older. Doesn't mean you can't be healthy when you're older. My dad's 78 and he goes for 20-mile bike rides now. It didn't always do that. It took him to actually step up towards his later years in retirement. But at 78, he's biking 20 miles. Like, there is no excuse for that. But here's my point to this daily dose, and I hope you're encouraged by this. And again, the only thing I ask is that you share this with others, is that you need to know that you are built to do hard things. But you're also built to not necessarily have to do it on your own, not to have to get through this on your own. That's the thing. We think like, oh, we just need more willpower. We just need to have more motivation. We just need to sleep on it overnight and sit and stay stuck. I'm just going to think about it. And, you know, hey, I'm going to even knock the Christians around a bit. Hey, let me just pray on this a little bit more. And don't get me wrong, I'm the first, and I pray even after the daily dose. And praying is great, and that's important. But you also have to take action. You actually have to do something. See, faith without works is dead. Like, you actually have to move in that direction. So like me being on that surfboard, and I was grateful to have that surfboard so I can paddle, but I had to keep moving. And I had to keep moving when I was out for those waves so I don't get smacked around by a cleanup set. And how did I do that? I didn't do it on my own. I sure as heck can tell you that there was no way in hell that I would be paddling out in those giant waves through the river mouth with a giant and I'm talking crocodiles, like 12-foot crocodiles talking. They weren't close, but we saw them. They were there, and they can sit in the water for 20, 30 minutes at a time, and they can take you out. And I've heard stories of them taking people out. But again, I came alongside guys, and you might be like, oh, dude, that's crazy. You're crazy for a wave to surf? Yeah. And I was with guys who had already done it before, and they said, hey, trust me, come alongside of me. We'll show you how to do it. We'll show you where you need to be to get. And you know what the coolest thing is at the end of it? Is I caught a wave out there, and it was the most amazing thing. It was the most amazing thing ever. It actually lit me up. I was at that time 37, maybe 36, 37. It lit me up. And that's why I enjoy surfing so much now. And actually, we've gone to Costa Rica, and that's turned into so many other opportunities. And I want you to be encouraged by this, is that even in the midst of feeling like this difficult time, and it's hard, and even maybe that you don't have somebody right now that can come alongside you, whether it's for your health, or maybe you're scared about all the things that are to come or not that you don't know. And again, this isn't, sometimes I'll share my faith about it. It's not even that. It's really just coming alongside people that can be encouragement to you. If you need a daily dose of encouragement, I'm going to encourage you to come on here every day. I'm going to be coming on here every day, 8 a.m. Why am I doing that? Because I know we need to be encouraged. In fact, I'm speaking to myself. I want to be encouraged, because it can be easily discouraged by watching news and then just kind of keeping your tunnel vision on all the negativity, on all the terrible things that happen. The reality is they're going to still happen whether you focus on them or not. So why focus on those when you can focus on something like what for you may be an amazing wave to surf? It could be you coming into a new season and a new direction in your life. It could be that you're waking your health up right now and realizing, dang, I need to start taking better care of myself. Because I didn't realize until this whole corona thing, when I'm really high risk. My doctor's telling me you could be potentially in the hospital with things like this. And if not this, is something else, right? A lot of people come into as you know, the people that I work with in their 40s and 50s, they come into my space and they say, Mark, I need some help. I'm ready to do this. I'm tired of the quick fixes. I'm tired of a $10 gym membership that I know is just like, you know, I'm not getting in any better shape. I'm just going through the motions. I don't have a solution. Well, if you don't have a solution, come alongside somebody that has a solution. The guys in Costa Rica had the solution for me. They're like, trust me, you can get through these crocodiles, you can get through the waves, you can get over those cleanup sets, and you're going to ride some amazing waves. And I say that, and this can be regarding anything, is you are built for hard things, whether it's surfing or surfing through this time in being confined to your home right now. And I would say is you can do two directions. You can take three directions, really. Three directions is you can fall in lines with what everybody wants you to think and everybody wants you to fear, and people in your life that are bringing you down, and people in your life that are getting you not only freaking out, like in the worry state that you never thought you'd be in ever before. You can go that direction, right, and focus on that. Or you can do nothing and then just completely turn off and just stay stuck. Or you can take action and you can move forward. You can get in there and actually get in the game. This could be one of the best times of your life right now. If you have time to focus on things that maybe you weren't able to focus on because you were so busy and so tied up in your world and tied up in your work and tied up in your kids' extracurricular activities and all those things, this could be the perfect time for you to take massive action to see down the road. Like for me on that trip, it was that wave. I didn't really know how good that wave would be until I actually got on one and caught it. And it took me a good hour and a half once I was out there. This may take you more than an hour and a half. It may take you several weeks and several months. But the sooner you start taking action, realizing, A, you can do hard things. You can get through this, even in the time of uncertainty. And when you're the most uncertain is to be around people who are certain. That's the thing. Be around people. Spend time, quality time with those people who are certain. And maybe that certainty isn't in knowing what's tomorrow, but maybe the certainty is even in right now, today, what you can do, and you can take action steps. So I'm going to encourage you today to take those action steps and don't move slow. If I move slow out in the water, who knows? I could have, if I took 2 hours to paddle out in those waves, maybe I would have gotten eaten by a crocodile. Maybe I would even never caught a great wave. But I actually had to take action and had to move forward, and that's what I did. And that's what I'm hoping you're doing right now, is to not think about right now. Well, think about right now, but what you can do right now, not worrying about right now. That's going to just consume too much of your time. And honestly, I don't know about you, but I don't have the energy to spend worrying about all the things. Start thinking about all the things that could potentially come tomorrow and then the next week. Maybe it's a new job, new career that you're thinking that you never would have thought of, and you were like, you know what, I'm really excited about that. Maybe you have to do some adjustments. Maybe you're realizing how important it is to be around other people and to be in community with people. And because now we're told we can't be physically, that might be say, you know what, I need to focus more on that. Maybe for you, it's your health and the level of health that you're at. And maybe if you're on a scale of 1 to 10, it's at a 3. And maybe it's time for you to step up to a 4 or a 5 or a 6 or a 7 and start making progress on that. And if you need help with that progress, reach out to me. You see, I've been doing health and fitness coaching and training, personal fitness for 25 years. There's a lot of things I'm not an expert at. I'm an expert at health and fitness and helping people lose weight. And right now I work with people. My clients are getting results. I've been doing Zoom interviews with coaching clients. And even though it's a struggle for them still, it's much easier to have a coach alongside of them to walk through it with, just as it was for me to get in the waves and get to those beautiful waves that were just so much fun and so exciting. And I would have not have been able to get through that with not having people alongside me that have already done it. That's the difference. You can go through and try to get yourself healthier and in better shape and more fit, and you can do the workouts, the home workouts that are free, and do all that stuff, and that may work for you. But I can tell you it's a whole lot harder trying to figure it out on your own, just like any of this stuff. than it is to come alongside people. I was on a call yesterday. I was online all day yesterday, but I had a 3-hour training now we're doing this 3 days a week. My coach, my business coach, and other entrepreneurs, fitness business entrepreneurs know we have to shift, we have to adjust, we have to pivot. And that's another word, a pivot, is maybe it's time for you to pivot. We were on a video, like a training yesterday for 3 hours. And I was so encouraged by that. Because why was I encouraged? Because I was listening to a coach who's already gone through things like this, maybe not exactly like this, but things like this. And he's teaching us what we need to do in business. And I've never been more excited about where I'm at right now and what's to come in the future, because I'm moving forward, moving closer, coming alongside people just like I did when I was surfing, and understanding what I need to do to get to that next level, that next step. And that could be a number of different things. So I hope this found you well. If it did, all I ask, again, 8 a.m. daily dose. I think I went a little longer today, maybe 20 minutes or so. Yeah, 25 minutes. Typically between 10 and 20 minutes. But the daily dose tomorrow, 8 a.m. All I ask in return is that if you enjoyed this, if this resonated with you, is that you share it with one person. Because if there's an encouragement that you received from this today and from my message to you today, can you imagine if you just posted it on your page and somebody watched that and you were able to encourage, even if you're not the encourager? Hey, I know maybe you're not super encouraged right now, but just can you imagine the encouragement you could be by simply just sharing this with somebody else? That's awesome. That's like the domino effect, or what, trickle down effect, or the ripple effect, whatever you want to call it. That's huge. That is huge. So if you can be an encouragement to others, if I encourage you, go ahead and share this with somebody else. That's all I have for this morning. Show up tomorrow, 8 a.m. It'll be Friday. Woohoo, Friday. A little daily dose with Mark Avens. Take care and have a blessed day. We'll see you.